This morning, caught on tape, always provocative words, even more so when it is a Supreme Court justice and his wife, and she talked about flags. On a secret recording, Justice Samuel Alito appeared to endorse a call to return our country to a place of godliness. A liberal activist and filmmaker presented herself as a religious conservative and secretly recorded the justice and his wife at a Supreme Court Historical Society dinner. The recording comes in the wake of the controversial flags being flown at Alito properties, and this is what Martha Alito had to say about them.
I want a Sacred Heart of Jesus flag because I have to look across the lagoon at the Pride flag for the next month.
Exactly.
And he's like, oh, please don't put up a flag. I said, I won't do it because I'm deferring to you. But when you are free of this nonsense, I'm putting it up, and I'm going to send them a message every day.
Now, CNN has not obtained the full form of these recordings. We have also reached out to the Supreme Court for comment.
And Laura, let's ask about the elephant in the room here. I mean, how did you, I guess, first of all, at the beginning of this segment, I described you as a liberal activist, and you posed as a conservative to, I guess, get some of this comment from the Alitos. How did you obtain these recordings, and what do you say to folks who take issue with misrepresenting who you are and going in there and getting these recordings?
Well, so they're audio recordings. There's nothing illegal in DC about recording people so long as one person is a party to that conversation. It's called one-party consent. There's no recording allowed inside the Supreme Court itself, like the courtroom, not the outer, parts of the building where we were. There's not a prohibition from the Supreme Court recording there. To people who want to pearl clutch about this, please tell me how we're going to get answers when the Supreme Court has been shrouded in secrecy and really just refusing any degree of accountability whatsoever, particularly in the face of, what are very extraordinarily serious ethics breaches on, mainly and most famously on the part of Clarence Thomas with, his acceptance of, big donor Harlan Crow, big GOP donor Harlan Crow buying his mother's house, paying for his nephew's tuition, very extravagant trips. And, if it were extravagant trips alone, I don't think we'd be having this story about Clarence Thomas's, gift ethics and lack of disclosure. But we're talking about buying his mother's house.
But yeah, Lauren, why not just go up and maybe it's pretty self-explanatory. Maybe they wouldn't talk to you if you said, I'm Lauren Windsor and I'd like to ask you a few questions. Can you speak into my collar here? But I mean, why not be a bit more upfront? Do you have any qualms about saying basically what they want to hear to get them to start talking? Or do you feel like that was basically the only way to do it? We've seen you do this in a number of other instances.
I do think it was the only way to do it. And, part of the reason that I understand there's a certain sense of decorum around the Supreme Court, but this country right now is at a crossroads where, we're trying to decide, and much of this is, being led by the Supreme Court, but it's, are we going to continue our tradition of secular democracy, or are we going to be led to Christian theocracy by this Supreme Court? And, in the tradition of the legal watchers who watch the Supreme Court, it would be called the Roberts Court. But I think it's much more appropriate these days to be calling it the Leo Court, given that he's had a hand in, getting the Supreme Court to the makeup where it currently is with religious extremists.